I don't think Duke's really as good as people think.
Trent McDuffie getting traded to the Rams.
It's got to make them the favorite.
We'll move on to the round of 16 now and kind of recap the draw that came out. Probably the least surprising draw of all time. Real Madrid drawing Manchester City for the fifth time in 6 years. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the From the Stands podcast. I am back for a little bit of a hiatus, week off. Obviously, Fezzy Boy holding down the fort in my absence last week. But we're back for another episode of the From the Stands podcast. Like I said, episode number 96, I do believe. Closing in on 100 here in just a little bit. But we're back for this episode on March 4th on a Wednesday night. Fezzy Boy, tell the people what we got coming up.
Yeah, it's got a big episode for you guys. It is finally March. Super excited for that. Before we get into the episode, though, would love it actually if you guys would like and subscribe on the video on YouTube. If you're watching, that would help us out a ton. All right, what we got coming up today, March is here, March is in the air, March Madness is around the corner, conference tournaments are about to start. We also got some NBA beef between some head coaches and some players. We'll dive into that. NFL news, the offseason news with a big trade coming down today between the Rams and the Chiefs. World Cup is officially, yesterday it was 100 days when we put the doc together. Today we're 99 days away from the World Cup. Super stoked for that. Then we'll talk some Champions League with kind of I would say almost a rigged draw with Madrid and
For sure.
Man City being drawn again. We'll talk that. And we'll talk a little bit of Prem with Arsenal, 7 points clear at the top of the Premier League. And we'll kind of give our thoughts on if we feel like it's deserved or not. But with all that being said, as we usually do, Sam, you said you had a little bit of a hiatus. You were kind of busy last week. Just generally busy, or like anything special going on?
Yeah, not really. Just really, really busy around the house. Busy with work. I had just a couple things that I had going on. I was going to be busy at night, and then we were hanging out a couple of those nights and stuff. And that was after we had just gotten back from that trip that I think I mentioned on the podcast at one point.
Mm-hmm.
So It was just a lot going on. And I was just like, I don't know when I'm going to be able to find time to fit in the pod. So nothing too crazy to report, unfortunately, but yeah, just a busy week. So
yeah,
you had the folks in town, right?
I did. Taylor's mom and her sister and grandma were in town. It was a huge help, especially just been super busy the past few weeks, like working, coming home, watching Owen, going to bed and repeating, being able to come home and Owen kind of being taken care of was super nice. That was super helpful. So appreciate that. Definitely been diving into some sports. That was another thing. Like, this isn't really like a topic we have coming up, but like in the beginning, I just wanted to talk, like, this has been a good stretch of sports. We had the Super Bowl early February, and then we went right into the Olympics, which kind of like in normal years, you kind of go like from the Super Bowl month off and you're like waiting until March Madness happens. But we had the Olympics, and then I'm pretty sure the World Baseball Classic in Tokyo's starting. Is it this week? End of this week, like Friday or something like that?
Yeah,
I'm not totally sure about that, but definitely gonna be watching that. We got the Avengers 2.0 on the baseball side of things, trying to bring it home. But I
was gutted to not be on for the gold medal podcast. That was pretty lit.
You can still give your thoughts. It's still fresh, man, dude. Like, USA hockey, dude. I mean, I felt so patriotic after that. I'm sure you did too.
Yeah, no, that was hype. I mean, I was watching it like as I was driving back from the retreat that day. Mm-hmm. And I missed most of the game, but I had it on for like the second half of the third period. Mm-hmm. So obviously I caught the most important parts, and it was just super hype. When I didn't think we were gonna win, we went to overtime. I was like, yeah, these boys are gonna find a way to score one on us. But I thought it was kind of hype, the 3-on-3 format, like in the overtime.
Interesting.
It was interesting. I don't know if that's new, but I kind of liked that. It just, there's way more space. You can actually see where the puck is at. So no, it was cool. So The goal was, it was a thing of beauty, and
Oh, it
the
was.
goalkeeper, absolutely incredible stuff. I mean, like you said, were saying on the pod last week, just the flurry of saves. The one save he had, like at the 4-inch line, like just
Mm-hmm.
reaching back was insane. Canada
Crazy.
also, like, I don't know, like letting us off the hook a couple of times, like McKinnon missing that open goal, which
That
like
was wild.
everybody's like, oh, they let the U.S. off the hook or whatever. But I also feel like 99 times out of 100 he probably puts that in. But I
Mm-hmm.
feel like because Hellebuck was on such like a heater,
Absolutely.
he
Uh-huh.
like, I mean, that's kind of gets in your head. Like, I have to get this like literally on the button for
Right.
it to go in. So I feel like it was
Right.
a little bit maybe of a mental thing there too. So,
Definitely.
but no, I thought that was lit. I feel like I felt a little bit of, I'm sure, what the 1980 team felt back
Mm-hmm.
then as well. So yeah, super cool scenes, and I don't see how they go back to not letting NHL players play in the Olympics anymore, because that was hype.
Yeah, absolutely. It was so good all around the entire tournament. And I agree, the 3-on-3 was pretty cool. Obviously they don't do that in the NHL, but they also didn't do PK like penalty shootout. So they were just like, we're gonna do 3-on-3 until like someone wins, and that's kind
Yeah.
of the whole point of 3-on-3. It's not gonna drag out for another 2-3 hours. Someone's gonna score
Did you
pretty early.
see did you see the reaction of all the Canadian dudes when they were getting their silver medals and they were giving them stuffed
Yeah, the little
animals?
stuffed animals, dude. Bro, I wouldn't have taken it. Like, if I'm to be fair, that's the one thing I agree with that the Canadians did. I'm like, dude, I just lost the gold medal match in golden goal overtime to the United States, and I don't
Bro,
want this freaking
you could
stuffed
just tell
animal.
McKinnon it just took everything in his body not to just punt that thing as
Just punt it,
far
just
as it
throw
could
it.
go.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was the Canadian and him keeping
Uh,
him pretty reserved. If it was an
I
American,
guess.
he probably we probably
Yeah.
would have chucked those across the ice. But
Yeah.
it was such a cool moment, man. I thought the Olympics were great all around, like all
Yeah.
the different events. It's always fun to watch. But yeah, kind of carry that patriotism into the World Baseball Classic coming up end of this week. Not totally sure when. I'm pretty sure it's the end of this week, but rooting on the boys like Judge and Schwarber and all them. It's gonna be good.
Harper's in there now.
Harper's there, dude. Yeah, it's gonna be. We got a stacked team. Like I was watching some of the highlights from their like exhibition game against the Giants the other day, dude, and it was like first inning, and they were just. It was over. It's just
Yeah.
like this is what happens when you bring an all-star team together. It's
It
just
actually
fun to
starts
watch.
tonight. So,
Dang, man,
US
shows how
the
much we care
US
about
isn't playing
baseball.
tonight, but the tournament starts
The
tonight.
tournament starts tonight. Well, that's cool. Yeah. Again, something to kind of get us through the next week and a half until March Madness officially starts. We get the brackets dropping here in a few weeks. But with that being said, we're going to hop into the pod right after this. If you're anything like me, you love hats, but not just any hats. You want a hat that looks good, but is also made with quality materials as well. And you want it to fit just the way you want it to. That's why we've partnered with Cowboy Revolution Apparel Company to bring you guys hats that do just that. I love my Cowboy Revolution hats. They're rugged and aesthetic. So whether I'm at work or podcasting, I know my hats will hold up and look great. They not only have hats, but a wide variety of apparel and accessories as well. Cowboy Revolution is also a veteran-owned and operated company, so you know where your money is going and you can feel good about it. Get your hats and apparel today at cowboyrevolution.com and use the code FTS15 for 15% off your order, or use the link in the description below. That's FTS15 for 15% off your order today. March is here, and with that comes March Madness, and we're super hyped for that. This is like one of my favorite times of year. Like, I don't know if I've said it on the pod or just in passing to you, but college basketball has to be right up there, if not the top sport for me. Like, I'll turn it on. Like, if there's a game on and it's halfway decent, I'll even watch some mid majors go at it if it's a decent game going on. Especially like if the game's close, dude. Nothing. I don't know. I think we've done this on the pod before, but like one of the top best feelings in all of sports is like watching a buzzer beater happen. Like
Yeah.
just the anticipation of it, like the hypeness, if is that
Yeah,
even a word for it, but like how
yeah.
crazy it is. such.
Got a
It's
few
so
games in
cool.
Greenville this year. That's pretty hype.
I know, dude. I want to go, but again, I don't know if I'm gonna be
BYU is
able to.
projected to be in the Greenville bracket, so
Actually, with the at the rate they're going, they might not even be in the bracket at this point.
anyway,
I'm pretty
sorry to
sure they're a
interrupt.
lock, dude. But no, you're good. That'll just jump us right into it, dude. Like, let's just start talking. I know, was it 2 weeks ago we gave our picks, Houston and Iowa State?
Yeah, literally ever since I picked Houston, they've lost 3 games in a row, and they
I was
look
just gonna
not
say
good.
it's not has not been looking good for our
They have been
picks.
playing good teams, but still.
Yeah, that's just life in the Big 12. Like every night someone can beat you. But you guys, I say you guys, your pick has definitely been losing to teams that they probably shouldn't be losing to. Like I think right before we picked that, they had lost to no, BYU lost to Oklahoma State. But yeah, Houston was dropping games that they really shouldn't lose to. BYU's kind of been doing that after the Richie Saunders injury. Their defense is it's awful. I don't even know what their defense is ranked at this point, but yeah, I mean, how excited are you for March Madness, man? Like it's a highlight. We talk about it a bunch on the podcast, obviously every time it comes around, but like are you excited for it obviously and kind of like what are you looking forward to? I know we'll talk a little Duke and also Miami, Ohio, who's undefeated, but not a tournament lock. But like, what are you excited for? Obviously, some teams in Greenville coming up, but
Yeah, obviously, I always get super hyped for March Madness. Probably not quite as much as you do. Not quite into the advanced metrics and all that kind of stuff that you guys get into. But obviously, it's always a super lit time. Unfortunately, my Cowboys are not going to be in it this year. Looked pretty good early on, but we've lost too many conference games at this point, and lost the teams we should be beating. So unfortunately, Cowboys won't be in there, but it's still going to be, I feel like, a really good tournament. I feel like Duke's obviously the front runner right now, ranked number one. They're fun to watch. I think the tandem of the Boozer brothers and the fact that they're brothers is a cool story. I'm also looking at my UMBC Retrievers sitting top of their conference right now. Might be
ooh,
back in the
let's
tourney.
go.
Always love to roll
Yeah,
back the years to the first 16 seed to win. So. And
dude.
then obviously Miami, Ohio too. I cannot believe people are. I understand the schedule thing, but I cannot believe people are saying that they might not make the tournament. I mean, what else you got to do as a mid-major, you know?
Yeah, and I guess we'll kind of just hop right into that. Like, dude, when I saw this, I think yesterday, and people were saying they're not a lock for the tournament, I was just baffled. I was like, I know jokingly before we tried to film the podcast last night, had some technical difficulties. That's kind of par for the course whenever we try to do the podcast. But we were talking last night, and it's just like, what else do you want them to do? Like, barring something catastrophic happening maybe in their conference tournament where like they get blown out, like you went the whole season beating the teams in front of you. It's kind of like what more can you ask from them? i
I
i don't
also
know.
feel like if you're ranked, like you should be in. Like that literally means that you're in the top 25 teams in the country, at least by what the rankings say. So the fact that they're in the top 25 in the ranking and then may not make the top 64 teams. I understand
Yeah.
it's not literally the top 64 teams in the country, but like out of all the at-large bids, you're not going to give one to Miami, who's literally ranked in your top 25. That seems a little bit contradictory to me, but what do I know?
Yeah, it's just a lot of people are saying as long as they win this weekend and go into their conference tournament undefeated, then they'll definitely be a lock. But like, I don't know, man. Like a one-loss team heading into their conference tournament and the favorites to win their conference tournament. Obviously, just win your conference tournament and you're in doesn't even matter. But the fact that they're not a lock up to this point,
And
and the biggest
I
the biggest reason is their conference. It's insane.
Well,
It's
I think
insane to me.
it's stupid that people that are being like, oh, well, they haven't played anybody, but like those same people, if they scheduled a Duke or like a Houston or whatever, and they went to those teams and get blown out, they'd be like, oh, well, they got blown out by the two teams that they played. Like
Yeah.
that would be their argument then. So it's just like it's kind of like what some of the teams in football are doing now. Like there's no incentive to schedule a good team on your schedule
Mm-hmm.
because obviously in football there's a lot fewer games, so like the sample size isn't as big. But you know, it it's kind of advantageous for a football school to like not really schedule hard games, because you get to the end of the year and like those 1 or 2 games could be the decider of, whether or not you go to the playoff or not. So it's kind of the same thing here. Like if Miami would have scheduled, a top 10 teams and either lost or kept it close or maybe even won one, like how much would that have done for their resume? So I think they
Right.
should be in either way. I think I mean, it's not like the MAC is like, D2, like it's still good basketball.
Mm-hmm.
There's still a couple, good teams that make some noise that come out of there every now and then, like Kent State and Toledo, so I don't know. I
Yeah.
think they should absolutely be in, whether they win their conference tournament or not. So
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like America already has that Cinderella team to root for, like especially like the disrespect that they're getting up to this point. It's like, all right, you didn't want to put us into the tournament even though we won all our games up to this point. Put us in the tournament and see what we can do. Now, we might be sticking our foot in our mouths at when it comes to them if we get to the tournament and they're out in the first round in like pretty dramatic fashion,
but
but
I don't think so, because like they still, what else could they have done to get there? Like they won
right.
every single one of their games. They
Right.
still deserve to get there, even if they get blown out by a 1 seed.
Exactly,
So
exactly. And yeah. And that's the thing, like they're going to like they could very likely be undefeated going into the tournament and they're still going to get like a 9 to probably 12 seed or something like that. It's going to be something crazy low. Like it's not going to be a high seed because it's not going to reflect their record. It's going to reflect the wins versus the strength of their schedule, which is what the committee's gonna look at. And I don't think they're gonna really give them much of a chance when it comes to seeding. Like, because some people were saying that they have a case just based on their record for a higher seed, like maybe even up to like I can't remember. Some people, I think like a 4 or 5 seed, which is a little high. You have to take their conference into consideration, but at the same time, dude, it's like you were saying, it's college basketball. It's Division I college basketball. Like going undefeated at that level is extremely hard to do, no matter what conference you're playing in. So, yeah, to be penalized for like for something out of your control, like playing in your conference, is just kind of it's ridiculous. But I'm sure they'll be in the tournament. Again, if they win this coming weekend, they'll be in the tournament for sure. But we'll see if they can keep an undefeated record coming up. They're also 30-0, but that actually doesn't count. The committee won't look at it that way because I guess 3 of their wins were against non-Division I opponents. So they're only counting, I think, 20. Technically, they're 27-0 when it comes to the Division I level. So I don't know if that makes a huge difference, but I guess that's something the committee will take a look at. All right, I wanted to touch on something that I don't think people are kind of gonna, agree with, but Duke kind of switching, top to bottom, going to the very top, the number 1 team in the nation, and basically all the metrics except for, I believe, Ken Palm has them. Torvik actually has them at number 2. They're ranked number 1 in AP, Ken Palm, and net. Obviously, they're doing really well. They beat
sounds like
Michigan,
pretty
who was
good.
the they beat Michigan a couple weeks ago, who were the number 1 team at the time, and obviously took that spot from them. But I don't think Duke's really as good as people think. And that could definitely be my Duke hate
So
coming
wild,
out.
dude.
But I mean, all right, up to this point, and I really want to believe that the ACC is getting better, and it is, but I just don't think it's really nearly as good as it's been in the past. So, in my mind, and again, this is kind of going to contradict the entire thing I just said about Miami, Ohio, but not quite. But like you're playing in the ACC, it is not ranked the high, like obviously not the highest out of the Power Four for sure. That's the Big 12 or SEC, and even the Big Ten's ranked higher than it in the past few years. And what really made me like think that Duke's really not as good as they are is when they played Virginia, I was like, okay, this is gonna be a really good test. This is gonna show how strong the ACC is, and if the ACC is that strong and Duke's doing that to the ACC, like sure, they're really good and they beat Michigan. I will believe that they're still capable of winning a national championship, but I just don't think the wins that they have are as impressive. I don't even think the Michigan wins as impressive as people are saying. Like I take a look at Michigan's schedule, and obviously in the non-conference they're playing like Oakland and like Wake Forest and San Diego State and stuff like that. They beat Gonzaga, who plays in the WAC, so it's like, all right, Gonzaga's good, but they just lost to St. Mary's and they lost to Portland 2 weeks ago. So how good is Gonzaga really, who plays in a mid-major conference? But then you take a look at it, they lost to Wisconsin, which Wisconsin's not all that great, but their wins are coming against like USC, Penn State, Nebraska, who was like really good for a while, but has shown that they're really not all that great. They beat Michigan State. Michigan State's good, but not. I wouldn't put them in a like the great category. Purdue's not that great, and then you lose to Duke. I just don't think that their
Who do you
record.
want them to beat?
I mean, yeah, you gotta play. You gotta play
1986
people in your
Bears.
conference, but I'm just saying, like if you take a look at Duke and you're like, okay, they play in the ACC and it's not that great, and then you really get into Michigan's schedule and you're just like, who really have they beat? And like they've lost to Wisconsin, that's a bad loss. They've beat Washington, Oregon, Indiana, Ohio State, and like sure, Ohio State's playing better now, but it's just like it's not like the Big 12 where everybody in there could be in the tournament and actually do well. So it just in my mind, I like took a look at that the other day. And I'm just like, is Duke really as good as we think they are? And then on top of that, I don't think they're nearly as talented as they were last year. And that team didn't win a national championship. They fell short in the Final Four. Not saying I don't think this team can't win it, but I just don't think they're going to as much as people think they are. Tell me I'm crazy, Sam. That was a long-winded way of saying I don't think Duke's getting it done this year. Very long-winded. I
Well,
apologize. I ranted there for a while.
I mean, I feel like there's a difference between saying they're not that great and like changing it and being like, oh, they might not win the whole thing this year. I think Duke is good. I mean, I think they're running through their conference. Obviously, the ACC isn't what it used to be, but there's still 4 or 5 teams in there that are ranked, and a couple more teams that you could make a case for them to be ranked. Obviously, it doesn't mean that they're the elite of the conference. Like the Clemsons and Louisville's kind of hanging around, could be ranked, probably might be ranked by tournament time. But I think they have several, solid wins on their schedule. There's nothing you can do about your conference per se, but they still be a Virginia team that I think is solid. The Michigan, I think the Michigan, like you were kind of downplaying the Michigan win, but I think Michigan, as much as I hate, the University of Michigan and their football team, I mean, their basketball team has been really good this year. They've beaten Nebraska, Michigan State, Purdue, Illinois, all top 10 teams in there. And whether you think that they're deserving of those top 10 places is maybe another debate, but they were ranked in the top 10 when they beat them. And beating that Michigan team, I felt like was a really impressive win. And I also look at their losses too and their quality of loss. Like they've lost, both of their games by combined 3 points. And they're both to ranked teams who are going to be high seeds in the tournament. So there's only so much you can do about the teams that you play. I think it'll be a good test to run through the ACC tournament and maybe play a couple of those teams that are higher up in the conference, like Virginia or Miami or some of those other teams. Clemson's not quite as good as they have been in the last couple of years, but I feel like they're always kind of right there, and they could pull off an upset here or there. So it'll be interesting to see going into the tournament. But yeah, I think they're legit. They may not win the whole NCAA tournament. It's kind of a high bar for them to be setting, for them to be, oh, if you don't win, you suck. But no, I think they're legit.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Again, I'm not saying that they can't. We've seen teams make the championship game that had no business making the championship game, and it all depends on, obviously Duke's going to be a number 1 seed, Michigan's going to be a number 1 seed, Arizona's going to be a number 1 seed. Those are the 3 that are kind of solidified, locked at this moment. So it all depends kind of like where you end up, like who you end up playing, and obviously when you're the number 1 seed, you have a bit of an a bit of an easier road to get there, but
I know this isn't in the doc and we'll kind of move on. But what do you think of good old Florida this year? I feel like they've kind of had ups and downs, but I still like how they're ending the season in conference.
Sammy boy, we were in lockstep. That was literally my next thing that was going to come out of my mouth. So, yeah, let's talk that because Florida's right there, kind of buying for that last number one seed, right there with UConn. What makes it hard for them to get it? I'm pretty sure. Did Florida? I'd have to look it up. I can't remember. They have a head-to-head, and I think Florida beat UConn. No, UConn beat Florida, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, they did. That was
Yeah,
early on
so
in the year, though.
it was early
But
on in the
yeah,
year. Like, you can't really take those games, like, with a lot of stock, just with the fact that, like, you got new players, especially this day and age with NIL, like, the amount of transfers and turnover that you have from year to year. It's not like college basketball of old where you have kids there 3-4 years consistently. But I really like Florida. They've come on super well. A couple of their guards, like I think it's Xavion Lee and Boogie Fland, they're playing at a high level now where they weren't at the beginning of the year.
yeah.
I think it's Thomas. Is it Thomas Houck, that
Yeah, I was
tall
gonna bring
forward?
him up, dude. Remember I was talking about he was a role player off the bench for them last
Yeah.
year, and I said I liked, just kind of what his game was about, kind of a defensive guy that can give you a little bit on the offensive end as well. But he leads their team in scoring now this
Mm-hmm.
year, starting every
Yep.
game. So I love to see that.
Yeah. Yeah, 17 points per game for Thomas Houck, like, dude. But like, again, their guard play is kind of the reason that they've been playing better near the end of the year. And I don't have the stats and stuff. I just heard this today, but like, if you look at the metrics of this team compared to the team that won the national championship last year, they're actually better this year when it comes to like statistics
Hmm.
than last year. So take that for what you will, but I think Florida's a real contender, and I honestly would give them the last one seed because UConn kind of plays in a league where they've been dropping games that they shouldn't to like DePaul and Villanova and stuff like that, where it's definitely them and St. John's, at the top of that conference, where Florida is playing in a conference where, you still have to play like Alabama. Vanderbilt's been good this year.
Yeah,
Arkansas has been good. Who they they blew Arkansas out like couple nights ago,
yeah.
which was kind of like them stamping that like, hey, we're here and we're
Hmm.
not going anywhere and we're ready to repeat.
Yeah, and I kind of felt like maybe I don't really become, I'm a pretty casual college basketball observer until football ends. So I don't know if it was just because I wasn't paying as much attention, but I felt like they had early losses. I think you said UConn. I think they lost to, I want to say Duke and maybe even Arizona in there too. So everybody kind of wrote them off at the beginning of the year. I was like, oh, Florida had,
Yeah,
their nice championship last year, but maybe they'll still make the tournament, but not be in that contender category anymore. But so they kind of went under the radar and just kind of started stacking wins. Obviously, they got a good squad with, like you were saying, Tommy Howe and Condon, I think his name is. He came back as
yeah,
well, so
mm-hmm.
just got some good pieces coming back, and also able to add some good guard play. Obviously, they just kind of. I don't know if it actually is or not, but quietly, kind of running the ACC, and I think they're regular season champs. So,
Yeah,
yeah, hugely impressive by Florida. I like to see what they got going on there. Super young coach too. Gives me Brad
yeah.
Stevens vibes.
That dude for sure. He's such an underrated young coach. I can't even call him underrated. He has a national
Yeah,
championship 3 years
right.
into running the program. So absolutely
Yeah,
wild. Um, I'm not out on your pick though. I think
I'm not
Houston
either.
I think Houston. I typed this on Instagram the other day. Like I commented on some people were kind of giving their national championship picks, and I was just like, I wouldn't sleep on Houston. I think their superpower. Sure, they have Flemings who's been balling out all year, and
Yep.
he's gonna be a lottery pick for sure, top five
Freshie.
pick. Yeah, like super freshman, obviously playing super well. But I think their superpower is gonna be they got JoJo Tugler, Sharp, and Uzan, all returners from
Exactly.
that national championship run last year. And if we've learned anything, dude, that experience is what takes you far in the tournament. Like freshmen help, but they don't get it done. And I think that's going to be their superpower. Guys that have been there, done that in the tournament. When push comes to shove, those are the guys that you're going to be able to rely on. And then you got the superstar freshman in Fleming and Sinak that are there. They're going to play hard. They're going to give you a jolt of offense that you probably didn't have, in the past years, because you never really thought of Houston as having like these top tier freshmen like putting up 40 points in games and playing at a high level on the offensive end. They've always just been super super solid on defense and just played really really hard as a team. But now I feel like they just got they just got everything. They got shooting, they got guard play, and the biggest thing for me is they got guys that have been there and done that. So I'm not sleeping on Houston. I would still love to see them back in the national championship game and even win one. I think that would be a really cool, story arc to the season. But yeah, I'm not sleeping on your pick at all. I think Samson's got something going on there that, even though it's just, do you think their slide like of games recently is more schedule based on like playing in the Big 12, like where everybody's good?
Um, Maybe a little bit, yeah. I don't think it's. I mean, they haven't. The two games that I played first, I'm a little bit mixed up on like which ones came first exactly, but
Mm-hmm.
the two that came first, I think it was Iowa State and Arizona. They played both of those like right to the end. They could have won both of those games.
Yeah.
The one to Kansas was a little bit more out of sorts, like they were kind of down from the beginning. Really never were able to claw back into that one, but like I said, I think two of those games, extremely winnable games. I mean, they were right there. Just looked it up. Iowa State was a 3-point game. They lost by, so
Mm-hmm.
that's just a couple bounces your way, and it's a different ball game. So I don't think that it's necessarily like 9-1-1, like time to tear it all down and panic kind of thing. But I think they'll still be good. They got a great tune-up game against Oklahoma State before they head into the tournament, so they can kind of get some things right there. So no, I think they're still going to be right in there. I think they'll be fine during the tournament as well.
Yeah, definitely for sure. Should be on that. They'll probably still be like a 2, no lower than a 3 seed come selection Sunday,
Yeah,
but
I would say two for sure. I don't know why they would be a three.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's gonna kind of do it. We're gonna switch gears to March Madness more as the weeks come on, and especially once we get the bracket and we can really dive into that. Looking to try to get Jared back on. Our boy Jared obviously loves this time of year. Has a lot of great insights. He's been doing this for a while. Really likes
Fills
diving
out a
into it.
thousand brackets a year, literally a
Like
thousand.
legitimately 1,000 brackets a year. Like it's insane. The dude's locked in come March, but something we haven't been doing, but we're gonna kind of hop into it because we need stuff to talk about, and there's been some stuff going on in the NBA. A little bit of we'll kind of highlight this game, even though it happened a few days ago, but still pretty relevant. Heated overtime thriller, Denver versus OKC. I know you watched this. I didn't watch this, but I watched kind of like the aftermath and the highlights, some
Yeah.
of the dirty shots that Jokic took, and the scuffle that happened. But I'll kind of send it over to you, kind of give us the rundown of this game and who won and your thoughts on it.
Yeah, obviously my Thunder sitting the top of the West as they have been literally all year since basically the first game. So Nuggets are really the only team really in the last year or basically since we won our title to really give us any problems. I know the Pacers took us to 7, but it never really felt like we were necessarily going to lose that. But the Nuggets are definitely like they're in our same division. I think, they have Jokic. They have the squad that seemingly matches up the best with us. We kind of have a little bit of a mini rivalry with them. They always play us close. And like you said, they're just getting a little bit chippy. Jokic is at the point where he can't. I think he can miss like one more game before he's ineligible for all the awards and stuff. So he was kind of
Mm-hmm.
playing through a little bit of an ankle or a calf or something like that. And Lou Dort just kind of cheap shots him after Thunder score. Everyone's heading back down on the other court, and Jokic is heading up, and Dort just kind of hip checks him. Bench is clear. Jokic gets just about the wildest, mean mug, I guess you could call it, at
Crazy
Dort
eyes,
or
man.
Jay Williams or whoever was in the scrum.
Uh-huh.
And it just kind of escalated from there. But yeah, like I said to you off pod, I don't think I'd want to see him in a dark alley anywhere.
No.
And
No.
Jared texted me and he was like, "Hey man, you watching this game?" I was like, "Yeah, pretty wild." And we just we kind of agreed on the hip check being cheap, and also that everybody in the NBA is just like they're so fake tough. But Jokic, dude, like I again, I don't think anybody once spoke with him
No.
if it really came down to it. So, but ultimately, Thunder getting the dub, 36 points from SGA. Jamal Murray had 39 on the other side. Jokic having one of his typical triple double like games. So yeah, crazy game.
Yeah, I unfortunately didn't watch it, but I was seeing everything after the next day on social media, and I was also listening to some people talk about it, and they're like, one even went as far as to say that this might like hurt Oklahoma City just a little bit because like it was blatant what Dort did to Jokic, and
He's
like
kind
it's
of
on.
had a
Yeah.
reputation of kind of being a dirty player the last couple of years.
Yeah, for sure. And now that it's happened to like a more high profile player, and there was a whole, a scuffle went down, and everyone's kind of keyed in on that moment. It's definitely going to change the way that refs officiate their game. The person I was listening to alluded to like kind of how the tush push went for the Eagles after, you know, all the different highlights and things were kind of being shown about like them jumping off sides and them starting off sides and, encroachment and all this, that, and the other. And it kind of became less effective for them because, when they went to do it, the officials were like keying in on it and really catching a lot of the, maybe like the little ticky tack stuff that they were doing that maybe made it successful. So I don't know if I prescribe to that way of thinking. I don't think it's going to hurt them that much, even if they're, keying in on Lou Dort and making sure that he's not doing anything super dirty. But I still think Oklahoma City's got to be at least one of the favorites to win the championship again and go back to back. I mean, you guys are
Yeah.
stacked, and then getting like acquisitions like Jared McCain, like, just a
Yeah,
throwaway
bro.
from the 76ers, and he's like dropping 20 points a game for you guys coming off
I
the
don't think
bench.
we
Like,
ever talked about us trading for him at the deadline because we
no,
just
like,
on other stuff. But
yeah,
yeah, what a
crazy.
pickup, dude.
It it really is, dude. As soon as you guys got him, I was like, I mean, I know he was playing for the 76ers like G League team, but it was like this dude was in, like, even with a torn ACL last season, was in the running for rookie of the year with just what he put on tape like earlier in that season. It's like you're going to give up on this guy cuz he tore his ACL and he's just like he's trying to get back to full fitness, like, and you're just gonna ship
Yeah.
him off to the contenders, and now we've seen that was probably not the best the best thing to do for sure. But
Yeah.
yeah, crazy game. Jamal Murray had 39 points. Christian Braun, Cameron Johnson, they traded for him. They got rid of what's his face? He's with Brooklyn now. Uh,
Michael Porter.
Michael Porter. Yeah, I've seen some things. It really hasn't worked out all that well for Cameron Johnson
No, he's
this
seemingly like
season.
scared to shoot from three. Doesn't really mesh well with the rest of the squad. And when they traded up for him, I was like, bro, we might be in trouble in the West
Yeah,
if
we
the
talked about it on
Nuggets,
the
they're
pod.
acquiring. Yeah, exactly. I think everybody was really high on the trade, but yeah, he's not been terrible, but just hasn't meshed as well. And I mean, Michael Porter will shoot anything,
Yeah.
and Cam Johnson just isn't, he isn't as much of a dog, I guess, as Michael Porter was, at least as far as shooting is concerned. I just don't think he's as much of a playmaker either, which Michael Porter
Mm,
wasn't either. But um, I just feel like they were hoping to get more of a complete package with him, and it hasn't worked out so far, at least. So
yeah. I mean, Michael Porter for a little bit there was putting up like an MVP season with Brooklyn. Like he just went out and he was like, I got freedom now. Like I'm just gonna go ball out, and
yeah,
he
well,
certainly was.
they have no standards over there. Like they know they're gonna suck, so he can just shoot as much as he wants over there.
Yeah, they had that. Brooklyn is crazy to me. I always like think of them because for like most of my life they've been like terrible, and then they had that one blip where they had like Harden, Kyrie, and Durant, and like barring Durant having a
Yeah,
slightly smaller foot, they're probably in the finals. And heck, who knows if they win it or not? Like
yeah,
just that
crazy.
small little blip where it was like They even had like Blake Griffin there for a little bit with
Yeah,
that
they
team.
were
Like,
bunch of ring chasers on the same team. Before that, I remember them when they had all the old Boston guys with KG and
yep,
who else was over there? I think they didn't have Ray Allen, but they had Paul Pierce. Um Rondo may have been there for a cup of coffee, maybe super
yeah, I think
quickly.
so. Yeah.
I think there was a third one, but I can't remember who it was. Anyways,
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter. But
Yeah,
they
yeah,
basically
very
gave
interesting.
the Celtics like a boatload of picks that they're still like profiting
Still
off of
using.
today.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think
yeah.
they somehow they used those picks to get Tatum and Brown like through some like, way backwards, like trading this for pick for that pick kind of thing. So
Yeah, I think I saw something about that. Yeah, like those picks turned into to Tatum and Brown, which like not
and
in the doc,
Smart.
but how about the
Yeah.
Celtics who are literally like
Impressive.
third in the East
Yeah,
and like
Jalen Brown's that guy, dude. Like I feel
he
like
really is.
I've been on before talking about that he's maybe not more important, but like does more things for that Celtics squad than Jason Tatum does. And he's definitely shown. I mean, he's kind of a sneaky MVP candidate right now.
Mhm.
He won't win it necessarily, but he's kind of in that top 5 conversation. But yeah, I mean, everybody just kind of thought this was a throwaway season for the Celtics, just kind of maybe rebuild, retool kind of thing. But Jalen Brown has him, what, second seed right now, something like that.
Yeah, second or third in the East right now. Crazy stuff. Uh Again, not in the doc, but do you think Tatum should come back? There's reports that he's coming back probably this month, and some people are saying that he shouldn't because I mean they're playing well without him, but also
Yeah, that's
should he come back and even if they can even if he's like at 80%, like their chances of winning the championship go up dramatically with him in my thinking, but I don't know, what do you think?
I mean, I don't know.
It's
If
so
I'm
hard.
Tatum, obviously you're coming back, but like if I was a
Right,
Celtics
right.
fan, I'd be like, I feel like it was kind of rough like last year too in the playoffs. It was just like very obvious that like Tatum was like, I don't know, not weighing them down, but like not necessarily like helping them as much as he could. And then there was like
Mhm.
obviously the even the year they won the championship, like he was kind of stat padding trying to get Finals MVP towards the end and stuff like that. I'm like, bro. So I don't know if I was a Celtics fan, I'd be like, nah, dude. Like you keep recovering. Don't come in and mess up the mojo and the vibe we got going on. I'd hope that he would stay on the bench.
Yeah, it's super interesting. Like, do you just let it ride and just? I mean, you
Which is
already have a
wild to
great
say to a
team.
guy that's like first team All NBA like 4 or 5 years in a row now. But
Yeah,
you know.
absolutely crazy. But again, I don't get paid to make those decisions. I just talk about them and think about them. It's very interesting to like you said. If you're Jason Tatum, you come back. Like you want to play
Yeah.
basketball. You want to be on on the court, especially on a team that you know could realistically go to the NBA Finals. But it'll be interesting to see what they actually end up doing. All right, lastly, before we get out of the basketball part of this podcast, JJ Reddick and your boy Luka kind of beefing. I saw some things. Obviously JJ Reddick took Luka out of the game. Didn't like it very much. JJ wanted a high five. Luka didn't give it to him. Walked over to him on the bench. Said, "What the heck, man?" Luka tried to give him a high five after that, and he didn't take it. Luka didn't like that. Just I don't know, some very immature stuff going on if you're the Lakers, especially with your head coach. But did you see this, and what kind of were your thoughts about it?
I did see it. I didn't delve into, exactly, what was said, if they even know what was said or what went down there. Yeah, it just kind of seems like immaturity.
Yeah.
JJ Redick's in a tough spot because he literally has to play like father to like all these immature divas at the LA Lakers have. Mainly
Mm-hmm.
LeBron, because LeBron like is so obvious that he doesn't care a lick about basketball anymore. He just cares
No.
about himself, his money, whatever's gonna get him I mean, I don't think we talked about this on the pod, but a couple weeks ago, like I don't know if you saw the video of LeBron like literally chatting to the other team's bench while they were trying to run a set. And
Really?
like JJ's like, did you see this?
Mm-mm.
Oh my gosh, dude, you got to look it up. But like, he's literally talking to the other team's bench while they're trying to run a play, and JJ's like calling for Braun because they're trying to run something, and then like they end up calling timeout, and then as everyone's calling, like going to the benches, LeBron's still over there just chit chatting with the other team's bench, and JJ Redick's just kind of like annoyed and just kind of like shaking his head or whatever. But like it's so obvious that he can't do anything because LeBron is bigger than the coach is, and
Yeah.
he's not going to listen to JJ. So JJ can't impose his will because he's either going to be like embarrassed like in front of the entire world by LeBron not listening to him, or he's just so anyway, that was a thing, but that was a different situation than what you're talking about. I don't know what to make of the Luka thing. It's probably just them just getting frustrated that um they're not having a great season. They're not even close to contending. Again, as a Luka fan, I feel bad for him because I mean the Lakers are so bad at putting talent around really anybody. They just try to go out and get the biggest name that they can, and hopefully it meshes somehow. Um, DeAndre Ayton is terrible. They again same thing that they had at Dallas for like 5 years, is not being able to find a center that can work well with Luka. Finally get one in the Mavs, and they trade Luka away. So
Yeah.
yeah, again, I don't know much about that situation specifically. I did see that his teammates were kind of trying to like tone Luka down a little bit, so that's a little bit weird to see. Just because usually coach player confrontation really doesn't escalate to that level, but it's the NBA. The coaches are just kind of cheerleaders there. They don't I feel like most of the NBA coaches don't really do much. So
Yeah. Yeah. I would hate to be JJ Redick in that situation. Luka's already emotional as it is. JJ Redick's hostile, and then like you said, LeBron doesn't even care about basketball anymore. He's just like, just here to stay fit at this point and get paid money to
well, that's
do
the
it.
thing,
Like,
that the team's not going anywhere until LeBron retires, and
yeah.
LeBron doesn't want to retire because that means less attention on him. So they just keep wasting more years of Luka's prime, and it's just it's the whole thing sucks. So
Yeah. Yeah. It's just a bad situation all around. I'm not a Lakers fan, so I don't really care, but just thought that was interesting. Like,
I
Luka's the
have to say
future.
you're not a Lakers fan. Like what?
Yeah, frick that. Frick the Lakers. Yeah. I used to like them, when they had Kobe and all that, but
No, I
yeah,
hated
definitely
them when they had Kobe, dude. Hated them.
definitely if you're JJ Redick, you don't want to be on the wrong end of that situation anyways, because if it's between you or Luka, it's gonna be Luka staying and you're out. So kind of a
Yeah.
touchy subject there for JJ Redick. But that's gonna do it for the basketball part of the podcast. Obviously, we're super excited for March Madness here in a few weeks. Having the bracket drop and the conference tournaments take place here soon. But with that being said, we're gonna move on to some NFL offseason news, so stay tuned.
Alrighty, despite the fact that we are in the NFL offseason, we still have some pretty big news to talk about. Really just going to recap the last couple weeks of moves here. Several players released or informed that they will be released soon. A couple trades, a couple franchise tagging going on. So a lot of just offseason business going down, I guess, for a lot of these clubs. First thing we'll talk about is the NFL salary cap increasing to $301 million.
That's so much money.
There's so much money. That's just like no big deal. Every team has that much to spend, is wild. $22
Yeah,
million
crazy.
increase from last season, so giving several clubs a very nice little bit more breathing room to either re-sign players or just more obviously expenditure on whatever they want. So it's a very nice increase. I think that's one of the bigger increases they've seen over the last several years. So that's pretty solid. Um, First thing we'll touch on is Cowboys making a couple moves, which I
There you
love to
go.
see. George
Yeah.
Pickens officially franchise tag, so he will play on the franchise tag for the coming year. They did not rule out getting a contract done before the season started, which is great news, but knowing Dallas probably won't. But we did sign Javonte Williams, which is a
That's big.
huge signing. $8 million a year, which is a little bit high for running backs right now, but I really like that price tag on what he gave us last year. If he's able to give us even 85% of what he gave us last year, I think that'll be well worth his contract. So I'm happy about that. Honestly, the bottom line for both of these things is just getting both of these things done early is like so nice, dude. Like obviously for years and years, Dallas and Jerry Jones they just wait because we're in the news. We're doing this. We're doing that. Are we re-signing Dak? Are we not? Are we re-signing CD? Are we not? Yada yada. And it goes literally to like the last day before the season starts. So I absolutely love that we wrapped both of these up early. Like just remove all of the question marks. We restructured. I think CeeDee Lamb, I think we restructured Dak, restructured or Tyler Smith, I should say, which freed up like $80 million of cap space. So we're already under the limit for the offseason, which I love to see. So yeah, just love to see all these big time moves getting done, in March rather than getting done in July or August or, a little bit farther down the road. So absolutely love to see that. How about your Steelers? I know it's not necessarily in the doc, but any big time moves coming out of Steeler land? Aaron Rodgers probably going to be questionable right up until August or September, so
Yeah,
something to look
he'll miss
forward
out
to.
on mandatory minicamp and then decide to show up.
It's like, I'm back, guys.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything since we got McCarthy. I feel like it's just like run it back with everybody that we have.
It's because
Not sure.
McCarthy is just in the trenches, dude.
He's in the trenches,
He's
man.
making a
I don't know
Super
if
Bowl
it's not
caliber
Aaron
team as we
Rodgers. It's
speak.
either Ty Smith or freaking Will Howard we trust in. Like I don't know, man. It's depressing. I mean, I don't know if it's a good thing we haven't heard anything about the Steelers or a really, 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 really bad thing that we haven't heard anything about them lately. But obviously we haven't been making moves. Couple
All right, well
quarterbacks on the
that's
market that
boring.
we.
All right, Kyler Murray and Kirk Cousins both being
I was
released in
giving
the
you a
last couple
segue. I was giving you a
weeks.
segue. Anyways,
Steelers, nothing going on. All right.
nope, absolutely nothing.
All right. Well, there's a couple quarterbacks here that hit the market. Are you interested in either one of these? And where do you see them landing more than likely?
I'm interested in both of them just based on our quarterback situation. Either we got like 43-year-old Aaron Rodgers or freaking noodle arm Will Howard coming in. I'm not high on Ty Simpson. Like, I could be wrong.
He's not even on your roster yet. Calm down.
Ty Simpson or Will Howard?
Ty Simpson.
I'm not high on him. We shouldn't get him, but we're probably going to draft him because we made the mistake of missing out on Dart in the first round last year. So it was like, okay, we got to make up for that. I don't know. It's going to be different with McCarthy, but I would love to see like Kyler or Kirk Cousins come in. I honestly would rather see Kyler come in and kind of pull like a Justin Fields move where we come in, sign him for way less than he's probably worth just because he's already getting paid from the Cardinals and, we're not going to have to pay him a whole lot of money, but just come in, see if a new place, new scenery kind of helps him out. A coach like Mike McCarthy that's known to get the most out of quarterbacks. So it would be interesting to see if he could come in and whether he's competing with Aaron Rodgers or Will Howard or Ty Simpson or whoever we decide to bring in, Mason Rudolph, just create some competition and just kind of like no stone unturned because like it's not coming out of the draft, I don't believe. And if we are waiting for next season, we need an answer this season. So just coming to an organization with some sort of stability would probably be good for Kyler. And it would be good for us to have a quarterback with that much talent. He's already been proven to be a franchise guy. If he works in Pittsburgh, it's to be seen. But and then Kirk's just solid. I feel like he is older, a little older, but younger than Aaron Rodgers.
He's a lot older.
He would just
Boy's
be
like what, 38?
I don't know. Kirk's older. Yeah, you're never
37.
mind.
He'll be 38 by the season.
Gotcha. Okay, but anyways, younger than Aaron Rodgers, and he would just be a good bridge quarterback until we could try to get a quarterback in the next draft coming up next year. But
I love how you say younger than Aaron Rodgers, as if anyone is older than Aaron Rodgers.
Is he the oldest?
Rodgers got to be. That's playing at least. But
yeah.
Anyways.
How old was Phillip when he came back? He was like 40.
Yeah, he was older for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wild.
I don't think Phillip's coming back again though. But
him.
I can see both of these quarterbacks really a lot of the same landing spots you talk about for both of them, like Vikings, Jets, Steelers.
Vikings.
Maybe you can throw the Dolphins in there possibly, but I think at least for Kirk, he's gonna want to go to a place that's probably going to be like more than likely in the playoffs or at least like on the edge of the playoffs. Don't really see him going to like, the Raiders and just kind of playing on a whole bunch of money for nothing. Um, Kyler, I'm not really sure. I could see him going to the Steelers for sure. I just really think that Rodgers is going to come back and McCarthy's going to be fine with that and just kind of run it back with the roughly the same pieces that they did this year. So I think that's
Mm-hmm.
kind of a situation that's going to get, solved by itself with him coming back. I would like to see him maybe somewhere. I don't even know, dude. Like, I'm trying to think of a place that, might need a court. Maybe the Vikings, but they seem like they want to double down on JJ, which is kind of stupid. But I could see him in
That's so
Atlanta,
dumb.
maybe. I know it's
That
ridiculous, but
that I could see, yeah, with Stefanski for sure.
yeah. So it just depends. Like I said on the podcast several weeks ago when we were talking about the Falcons situation, I said that they should probably go with Cousins over Penix. So if they're doubling down on Penix like
Mm,
this, I don't
that's
know.
true.
Maybe they stick with him instead of bringing another guy in, and making him more nervous. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Steelers could
Were
always
you
bring
were
bring
you
in Kyler to back up Mason
yeah.
Rudolph and give him some competition. So
Ayo, ayo, ayo. Were
I was
you
kidding.
real like were you as surprised when Kirk got cut? Like you kind of just alluded to it. Like I really thought with Stefanski there, they would have kept Kirk Cousins. Like just open up a competition again. Like new coach,
Yeah.
see what works best for you,
I
right?
mean, I did, but like it also made sense. Like I don't know, it felt like they wanted to back Penix. Um, the whole situation was weird and contradictory from the beginning. You sign an older quarterback for a whole bunch of money, then you draft another one in the first round. Like
Yeah.
that's weird to me. So they were gonna owe him a whole bunch of money, and they still do. But yeah, it just
Yeah.
seemed like they needed to like make a decision of which direction they wanted to go. And I think, um, with all things being considered, they probably made the better one just because Penix is obviously a lot younger and he has a lot more years on the tires than Kirk Cousins does. Because, like, let's say Kirk, you trade Penix, maybe you put him on the bench, but Kirk, you're getting what 1 or 2 years max, and they just
Uh-huh.
didn't want to really maybe commit to that. So I don't know, but I was definitely surprised. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Kirk. How do you sorry, my thoughts. What do you think about Kirk going back to the Vikings? That's been kind of floated around there.
Yeah, I think that would be good for them. I think he could do well there. I think he'll do better than JJ, obviously, but
Oh, for sure.
um, I just don't think the Vikings would necessarily want to do that, just because I feel like that would be kind of an admission of like they did the wrong thing when they let him go.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and also like maybe not even necessarily that, but just like maybe a step backwards, like into what they were, which they kind of want to like just kind of be, more just going in a different direction at this point. So for those reasons, I probably won't re-sign him, but I think it would be good for them to re-sign him. I think that would be a good move for them just because um, they get a quarterback that can obviously sling it. He still has probably good chemistry with Justin Jefferson, which I think is a topic that not enough people are paying attention about. It's like, when is Justin Jefferson going to get sick of them not being able to, one, have playoff success, and two, get a quarterback that can throw him the ball on a regular basis, um, to the point where he might want out. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's it. But it's literally what KOC loves is a quarterback that's been there, done that, a veteran quarterback that he can work
Yeah.
with. Like literally up to this point, he was the QB whisperer with these type of quarterbacks, especially Kirk a few years ago. And then he finally gets a rookie quarterback in there. And granted, JJ was not the cream of the crop when it came to the quarterbacks in that draft class, but like still you thought he was capable enough, especially going to a place like the Vikings with KOC and it just not working out. Obviously, injuries and stuff like that hindering him as well, but it shouldn't look that bad. Let's put it that way. So, yeah, Kirk going to the Vikings would definitely be an interesting storyline if it ends up happening. But there's other places that could use his services. Like, I thought also like the Browns. Like the Browns need someone that can play quarterback. Their quarterback situation's really, really up in the air as well. So,
Got a Pro
there's
Bowler.
definitely landing spots for Kirk Cousins other than the Vikings. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see where these guys end up.
Yeah, for sure. Moving on to a couple other situations. We got David Montgomery traded from the Lions to the
This is out of
Texans.
nowhere.
Pretty big trade there. A little bit out of nowhere, but also after a couple seconds, I was like, all right, I can kind of see why they want to do that. They're obviously committing to Jahmyr Gibbs in the backfield, kind of a 1-2 punch. Was their game plan for a couple years now, but obviously kind of committing more to Gibbs just because of the breakout season that he had last year. And then also Kenneth Walker not being tagged, so he's gonna walk as a free agent from the Seattle Seahawks. Obviously, they can re-sign him back for more money or less money or whatever they want to do. But it does look like he's gonna be a free agent and is gonna be able to sign with whatever team that he wants, which is wild as a key piece of that Super Bowl winning team.
Yeah, that was wild to me that they didn't. I think they potentially could have franchise tagged him as well, but I'm sure there's always inner workings. Like they're probably not going to franchise tag him, sign him for something, whatever. Because I don't see him wanting to leave the Seahawks. You have such a good situation there. Seems like a solid dude. I feel like he's not going to try to like absolutely get as much as he can squeeze out of them. But I'm not sure, other than just watching him in interviews and stuff. Like, I feel like he would take a semi-team friendly deal, especially if they have a chance to, repeat next season. Like, a lot of their defense is super young, so you're not paying them. So there is money there that's available, but super interesting that they didn't at least tag him or anything like that to try to hold on to him. He's going to be able to test the waters if that's what he chooses. But the David Montgomery trade caught me out of nowhere because I was kind of like, man, they got like that's a big part of their offense. I know they lean a lot into Jahmyr Gibbs more than him, but like David Montgomery was still putting up numbers last season, even though with the new OC they weren't using him as much. But this definitely helps the Texans out a lot because now you got David Montgomery. Woody Marks was playing really, really well last season. So it gives them more depth at the running back position for sure because other than Woody Marks, it was like Nick Chubb getting touches on the ball. So it's like that's not really who you want backing up your starting running back, especially with how old he is. But interesting moves. Definitely coming down this past week. Couple catch me off guard for sure.
Yeah, last couple situations we'll touch on. First one being really the biggest trade of the offseason so far. Trent
Wild.
McDuffie getting traded to the Rams for a little bit of a haul here. We got a first
Mm-hmm.
round selection this year. I think it was a third, a fifth, I want to say. Um, and then maybe a sixth as well, and then a third round pick next year. So several picks for the two-time All-Pro cornerback from the Chiefs going to the Rams. You were saying this off pod, but you think this might be the last final piece that the Rams need to really get it over the top, as they were pretty close this year, but the secondary was really their weakest unit, I guess you could say, and they definitely got a huge boost in Trent McDuffie.
Yeah. It's got to make them the favorites. I mean, they took the Seahawks in that NFC Championship game down to the wire. It was a really, really good game. And like hindsight, and even before the game happened, people were calling that the Super Bowl. And hindsight tells me if the Rams win that game, they beat the Patriots as well and are Super Bowl chance for the second time. So yeah, I definitely think this is a move that they have to make because what you're only going to get another 1 to 2 really good years out of Matthew Stafford as he gets older. Could be wrong. He could age like really well. Like Tom Brady was pretty good all the way up until he retired. So and he's that's kind of what Matthew Stafford is. He's that type of quarterback. Doesn't take too many hits, mobile in the pocket, but doesn't really get outside that much. But yeah, I think this is them kind of showing their hand and saying, hey, we're going all in. Like you said, they got a haul. You alluded to it. They got a first round pick this year, a fifth round pick this year, sixth round pick, and then a 2027 third round pick. So lots and lots of picks for the Chiefs, who are definitely retooling. And it kind of shows what the Chiefs are doing too. Like McDuffie is a huge part of that defense and two-time All-Pro. And they're saying, yeah, we need the picks more than we need him because we just got a lot of different holes that we have to fill and get. I would say younger because they got a lot of core guys that are older that are going to be moving on here in the next year or two, like Travis Kelsey is
Yeah.
one of them. But yeah, interesting move for sure.
Yeah, I think if you follow, what the Chiefs have been doing, they never really, re-signed secondary guys. Like they let Snead go, they let several
Mm-hmm.
guys that they've drafted over the years walk or just trade them. So it's kind of something that they do on the regular. But like you said, I think it's an interesting point. Like maybe kind of seeing the end of some of those key guys, maybe like a Chris Jones. Chris Jones obviously probably has a couple more years at least of elite football. Travis Kelsey, this might be the last year for him. So just kind of doubling down on making those picks. But obviously, I think this is the perfect example of two teams that obviously massively successful on both sides, but they do business so differently. Like the Rams are much more on the side of like, just trading all their picks away for elite talent, and whereas the Chiefs are a lot more building through the draft and kind of trying to recycle some of the elite players that they have had for several more picks, and they've obviously drafted really well, and most of their starters or their big time players are players that they've drafted. So just kind of two sides of the coin there. And obviously both methods have proven to be successful, but just two different ways of doing it. And I think the Rams definitely get better. I think Trent McDuffie is an incredible pickup for them. I think he was a little bit hurt this year, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
Don't quote me on that, but yeah, beefing up that secondary behind an already pretty good defensive unit. Like their line was really good. Their only weakness really was that secondary, and adding him is crazy. And everybody was I saw all the memes afterwards, like they figured out they needed someone to chase after JSN in division twice a year, so got to
Yeah.
pick up McDuffie. But it'll be interesting to see what the Chiefs do with all their picks. Obviously, all of those, was it 4 of the 5 picks that they got are picks this year. One of them is
Yeah.
in the first round, so they got 2 first round picks this year, which is big for them. They usually don't have that, and they got one that's pretty high up there because of their record. So I'd be looking out for them. I'm just curious to see if they're going to draft Jeremiah Love. If he falls that far, like it'd be obviously a little bit unlike them to go running back that high, but I mean they need it, and
They do.
I really like Love. I'd be interesting to see him on a good team.
Well, I think with the extra first round pick, it gives them that flexibility to do that. So
For
it's not
sure.
as risky to waste a pick. And you can't even say waste because he's a good player. He's coming out of the first round. It's something that they need, but it's not that much of a risk to do that now that you have a second first round pick that you can use on a defensive player to kind of fill that gap that McDuffie's going to leave.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I really like Love, so I'm curious to see wherever he lands, if he's going to be a good player, because he was pretty electric in college for sure. Last situation we'll touch on is Stephon Diggs being released by the New England Patriots after only 1 year with them. Obviously coming in last season, kind of the biggest offseason signing for them. Finally getting a wide receiver 1 for Drake May, but unfortunately going to be releasing him. They would say mainly for financial reasons, but there's probably
No.
a legal element of it as well that they're looking at and being like, you're not really worth all of the trouble. Obviously, he's gonna be 32 or gonna be 33, I think, before the season starts, making, what was it, 20 something million? Maybe, don't quote me on that at all. I was just talking about wide receiver 1 money. I don't think he made maybe quite that much, but yeah, Diggs released. What say you?
Yeah, I
Struggling
mean,
through that
it's
one.
it's it's definitely not it's definitely not financial or anything like that. It's all everything that's going on off the field. I didn't even know anything was going on until like we got to the Super Bowl, and you're just like, yeah, they pushed off his court date and
Bro,
all
we
that. I was like, what?
talked about it on the pod.
I didn't even remember that at all. I had no idea what was going on. All I knew is he was like dating like Cardi B or something like that, having a baby with her, and then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, he's going to jail. And it's like, what? And then it was like, yeah, he choked somebody, and I was like, who you freaking choked? Like, I'm literally like looking this stuff up now. Like,
I
yeah,
love how
felony.
you just flew past so much information there. You're just like,
Dude,
he choked
I
somebody.
have been out. I have no idea what's going on. Yeah, like felony charges of strangulation or suffocation, misdemeanor assault and battery. Like,
I thought it was
This dude
disgusting that
needs
they
help.
moved his court date back for the Super Bowl. Like,
Yeah, that's pretty scummy now that I know that they
because
did that.
all that went down like right
Didn't
before the
help.
playoffs, and they
Yeah.
like conventionally moved it to like a couple days after the Super
Mm,
Bowl. I was like, bruh,
that's
I
didn't help. He
yeah,
had like what, 2 catches in the Super Bowl?
I don't know, something like
Not
that.
not even like
Yeah.
yeah. So
He can
yeah,
join the Rasheed Rice club over there.
his playing career is probably coming to a close very quickly. If if he doesn't go to jail, there's definitely going to be a hefty suspension coming down from the league. Like we've seen less than this get like really really hefty suspensions. So he's going to be, if he does come back and plays next season, he's going to be missing most of the season because of that. There's no doubt in my mind if he doesn't go to jail, barring
Yeah.
that.
Maybe he sits out half the season and signs with somebody for a playoff push.
Buffalo Bills re-sign Stephon
Oh
Diggs.
my God, I don't think
Imagine.
that's happening at all.
No, they're not. No,
I
they're
think that
not.
ship has sailed with not
It's
just the fans,
gotta.
but probably with Josh Allen too.
It's gotta. It has to at this point. There's no way. There's no way. But yeah, interesting stuff. Like I had no idea going into the playoffs, and then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, Stephon Diggs is going to jail after the Super Bowl. I was like, what happened? I thought everyone loved this guy. Apparently not. Apparently not.
No, yeah, whatever. Anyways,
Anyways, yeah. But with that being said, that's gonna do it for the NFL portion of the podcast. We're gonna move on and hop over the pond here in just a second.
hopping over the pond for a little football talk as we round out the pod here. Fezzy Boy recapping some good Champions League games that went down last week. Some absolutely wild results coming out of the first round of the playoffs. Most notably, Inter Milan going out to the likes of a small Norwegian team up in Scandinavia who aren't even playing a season right now because it is so freaking cold up there that they don't even play their season during
That's
the normal
wild.
calendar year. So they just have to get up for Champions League games all the time,
Perfect.
which is perfect for them. So obviously they're not doing too bad. So that was one of the bigger games. Also recapped Atalanta and Dortmund. Dortmund, unfortunately, blowing a 2-0 lead to go out of the
Dortmund.
tournament as well. And then Juventus also losing to Galatasaray from Turkey, to a team that maybe not a lot of people know about here stateside, but obviously one of the bigger clubs in Turkey, and they've kind of got a loaded squad over there. A lot of names that you will definitely recognize. But
They do.
we'll move on to the round of 16 now and kind of recap the draw that came out. Several really good draws and good games to kind of preview and look at here. Biggest one is probably the least surprising draw of all time. Real Madrid drawing
Dude.
Manchester City for like what, the 5th time in 6 years.
Yeah.
So they just need that round of 16 Madrid Man City rivalry, I guess. But what say you about the draw as a whole, I guess, and which side of the bracket? Obviously, you kind of know which side of the bracket is harder and which one's easier. But what do you got to say about some of these matchups coming up?
Yeah, I mean, we're getting down to the nitty-gritty. These are when the games start getting really good. Obviously, I've kind of warmed up to like the table phase of the competition because like we're getting like come the end of that phase, like the teams at the bottom when the games really start mattering, makes it pretty interesting for sure. Um but this is where we get like best on best for the most part. Obviously, you have some teams in there that are they're good to get to this point. Like Sporting, Bodo Glimt, Tottenham's one that's like I'm just like Tottenham's here. Like,
Dude,
what are we doing? Absolutely
they're literally like
crazy.
6 points away from relegation in the
I
Prem, and they're
know, and
somehow
they're
in the round of
playing
16.
Atletico Madrid in the round of 16. It's absolutely crazy. But yeah, we got some good matchups like PSG, Chelsea, Liverpool. After watching what Galatasaray did to Juventus, I'm just like, dude,
That's gonna be a
kind of
good
stacked.
tie.
Kind
Yeah.
of stacked. And Liverpool, not at the height of their powers right now. Like, that one's
Yep.
kind of a toss up to me. But obviously, the highlight of the whole draw and kind of like what everyone's been talking about Real Madrid and Man City, dude. Like, tell me it's not rigged or tell me it's rigged without telling me it's rigged. Like,
Yeah, you already knew.
I was trying to look it up. I was typing it into Google. You might have it pulled up or know it, but you kind of alluded to it. But how many times has this been that they've
I
met?
think I don't have it in front of me, but I think it's the fifth time in 6 years or something like that.
Yeah,
So
something.
basically, every year they go up against each other in the Champions League knockout rounds.
Yeah, that's yeah. There's just no way that it ends up like this all the time. That you see Real Madrid mints like, yeah. Is it going to be a good game? Is it going to be a great game? Yeah, sure. Like 2 legs of this, I'll take 10 legs of this at this point. But it was definitely funny to see all the memes and different things come out on social media where everyone's just like, "Wow, surprise, surprise! Real Madrid and Man City in the Champions League again." But um, I don't know. I don't think either one of these teams are as strong as they've been in the past years. Real Madrid obviously firing Xavi, like, how long was it? Like a few weeks ago, a month ago now.
Yeah, about a
It's
month.
been
Yeah.
it's been a while now. Man City obviously doing all right in the Prem, but they just dropped a game to they just drew with like West Ham or something today or something like that. So definitely not the teams that we're accustomed to. But who do you think moves on in this one? It's kind of a toss up as well in this one. It usually is, but a little bit more this year just because both teams aren't as strong.
Yeah, I don't know. Madrid's dealing with a lot of injuries. I think Man City will get it done by the skin of their teeth. Just because I feel like Madrid's just kind of overall um just a rudderless ship right now. I feel like I am just confused by the Xabi Alonso thing. Like, I guess he lost the locker room, but like they still they sacked him so early. Like now you've
Mm-hmm.
got Arbeloa in there, just kind of, you know, I don't even know what he's doing. I don't think he even really knows what he's doing. Just kind of playing guys out of position. Obviously, like I said, the injuries are all over the place. Rodrigo just blew his ACL, which ends his World Cup as well.
God,
So
that
that was
sucks.
brutal, brother.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a big piece going down for them. So I think Man City will get it done. But like I said, I think it'll be close.
Yeah, I think Man City will get it done too. I think Real Madrid's just not quite what they're accustomed to. Jude Bellingham also has been like scarce. I know he's been in and out with injury, but also like not in the squad. There was some things coming out too that he's not going to be in the England squad as well. Just really like dropped out of form out of nowhere. Um, so yeah, super interesting. To kind of see what's going on at Real Madrid with everything right now. Still in the title race in La Liga though with Barcelona currently.
Yeah, but
So
they took a huge hit these last couple match days with Barca now 4 points clear.
yeah,
They
saw that.
Madrid lost to Getafe, I want to say. I think they tied before that. So, yeah, not a great showing these last several weeks. But yeah, the other side of the bracket is looking nice for my Gunners. I mean, we play
Yeah, I was
Leverkusen
just gonna
first,
say.
play the winners of Bodo Glimt and Sporting, which I mean, nobody's an easy, win in the
Yeah,
Champions League, but you look at the other side of the bracket, you're like, I can live with this. And then if we get out
yeah.
of that, we play winner either Newcastle, Barca, Atleti, or Tottenham. I mean, we give I mean, we have a good shot against all those teams, I think. So,
Who would you want to see out of those four? Like, or who would you not want to see out of
dude,
those
for the
four?
vibes, Tottenham, Arsenal in those freaking
Yes,
semis,
yes,
that would be
yes.
insane.
That would
But
be insane. Tottenham beating freaking
yeah,
Atleti and
who'd I
either.
most want to see? Obviously, Newcastle.
Yeah, really? Out of
Yeah,
everybody?
I bet you we would beat Newcastle easier than we would beat Tottenham because Tottenham, like, it's a
Really?
rivalry, not because of the
Ah,
teams, but
yeah.
like I just feel like mentally,
There's more in it, yeah.
yeah, and Tottenham, even though we beat them pretty handily, like that's just different stakes in the Champions League. So, um, team I'd least like to see, I guess Barcelona, even though Atleti, I mean they've been looking pretty good recently.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I ultimately came down to probably Barca just because I feel like they're a little bit more dangerous.
Yeah.
But again, they're high line. Maybe we should put five past them. You never know.
Dude, facts.
That's what Atleti did. Barcelona tried to come back.
Yeah.
I know we're not talking about that, but that was a pretty wild tie.
That was a wild tie, dude. Freaking that high line just keeps screwing us every week
Did you
without
ever go
fail.
back to the Atleti Barca the first leg when they got beat 4-0 and listen to the announcers?
No, I didn't. I didn't
Dude.
go back to that, but I'm sure
Oh
it
my
was
goodness.
I'm sure
Funny.
they were giving it to him just like what the frick are we doing, guys? Like
Yeah.
it's it's infuriating.
Last
But
thing before we move on to the Prem, though, how do you think your Blues are going to fare up against the holders here, defending champs?
uh I don't know. We turn up against a good team, so I could actually see us beating PSG. It's just if we get Galatasaray, we're gonna get absolutely crushed because it's gonna be like, oh yeah, we're playing a Turkish team. Like let's just not show up. Let's not play. I'm not worried about PSG. They're gonna get our best. I know that, but honestly, I would rather see Liverpool in the next round because we just show up against the bigger names, and Liverpool's not as strong as they've been in the past. So I would like to see Liverpool, and then from there, it's like we're either gonna get Bayern, Real Madrid, or Man City.
It's
Unless
nuts the difference in the two sides of the
it really
bracket.
is, dude. That one side that's crazy,
Yeah,
dude.
it's pretty stupid.
Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think PSG is going to be playing with a little extra though, just because of that Club World Cup
Mm,
loss. I mean, they would have if they would have won that game, like they would have won literally everything that year, which
mm-hmm.
is wild, never been done before. So I'm sure they'll play with a little bit extra motivation. But I think you guys are going to give it your best too. But
For
talking
sure.
about a game there, you didn't give your best. Arsenal Chelsea.
Ugly, dude.
The worst
Ugly.
game I have watched like this whole
I'm glad I
Premier
didn't watch
League
it.
season, and I've watched some stinkers being an Arsenal fan. Even though we're top of the table, we aren't necessarily producing the most entertaining football as of late, unfortunately. But
No.
this game was literally nothing happened
Mm-mm.
except like the two corners that went down basically. Obviously we're scoring first off Saliba, just a pinball like craziness. I don't even know what's going on at the goal line. Somehow the ball goes in.
Mm-hmm.
You guys come back, get a corner of your own, and then our defender Hincapié heads it into his own goal, and that's tied. And then Timber on another set piece in the second half, being able to get on the end of one and head it home. A little bit nicer than the first one, but yeah, just super ugly, dude. Like I don't even like Arsenal Chelsea used to mean something, you know.
It
And
used
then Pedro
to.
Neto getting a red card in the second half for absolutely no reason. I have no idea why he made that second challenge so far away from the goal. Just seemed like he wanted to take him out. So, and then you're just kind of on the back foot the rest of the game, kind of GG's from there. So
Yeah, it was ugly. I mean, like the only goals coming from corners, like set pieces, and it's just like, what are we doing? And like there weren't really any really good chances. Like there were a few like breakaways and really good saves, but like other than that, it was just super lackluster. It was a pillow fight out there, man. Like it was
yeah, it
just
wasn't
I watched the
wasn't very
highlights and it
much.
was even bad just watching the highlights. I can imagine watching the whole match with it like that. Yeah, we had a chance at the end with it ended up being offsides with a overhead kick from João Pedro, and then Delap finished it off, but João Pedro was offsides when he received the ball, so it didn't end up working out. That would have been a quite the way to get something out of that game, but unfortunately we fall short and help you guys out.
Yeah,
Help you guys out quite a bit.
yeah, huge,
Uh Top of the table.
yeah, huge dub for us getting past a London rival, a team that's supposedly going to be in the top 5 this year, but we'll see how things shake out. But
We'll
still
see.
good to get a win over them. Man City obviously putting the pressure on us a little bit earlier in the week by beating Leeds 1-0, which brings us to the current match day. Had basically the whole match day going down yesterday and today. So a little midweek prem going on here. I'm not really entirely sure why they played this whole match day during the week. Maybe it has something to do with the international break coming up. But some big results coming out of the midweek though. Wolves beating Liverpool. Wolves rock bottom of the Premier League, almost definitely going down, even though it's not mathematically assured. It's basically assured that they're going to go down. a lot of talks about Wolves maybe being one of the worst Premier League sides ever, but they're getting a pretty good dub against Liverpool here, which really crushes their chances, or just a huge blow to their Champions League chances. Chelsea handily beating Aston Villa, who not so long ago were like third.
Mm-hmm.
4-1, so very impressive come from behind victory there. Newcastle beating Man United, so both third and fourth place teams both losing there. Man United still holding on to a slim lead in the third position on goal difference. And in the title race, Man City tying Nottingham Forest, which is
That's
an
who it was.
absolutely
Yeah.
massive result. Again, Forest um, more of a relegation threatened team than a team that's maybe challenging for Europe like they were last year, but giving Man City all they can handle. Man City scoring first, Forest tying, and then Man City going ahead again. Man City had tons of chances, especially in the 90th minute, getting cleared off the line. Just absolutely wild scenes. But a huge tie, at least for the Arsenal point of view, for Man City here. Did you see this game? What were your opinion on the whole match day? I guess as a whole these last couple of days.
Yeah, I didn't get to watch any of these games, unfortunately, but yeah, helping you guys out a ton. Like, we kind of talked like a month ago or so, and we were just like, this is when Manchester City really takes off, and you were kind of like where you're like, here they
Sure.
come, here they come, here they come, and
And they have
here,
until this game.
yeah, here we are in March, and they slip up, and you guys have a 7 point lead at the top of the table, and I mean, it's really looking like you guys are gonna do it. Like, again, we've talked this whole
Eight
year.
more games, man.
I would love to see you guys do it, but we've discussed kind of the fraudulent nature of it at this point. But you're still gonna celebrate it, obviously, if you win it. But yeah, again, like we were kind of saying, Manchester City is just not quite what it used to be for whatever reason, whether it's Pep, whether it's the players, whether it's injuries, just not quite as strong as they've been in other years. And you guys kind of figured it out this season, which is good. Again, might even win the Champions League too. All that
Yeah.
Arteta talk will go out the window, especially if all that comes to fruition.
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely. I think Man City are definitely missing. I think the biggest piece is just Kevin De Bruyne. Obviously a guy that has had the ball at his feet for most of the game. A guy that
Yeah.
can, kind of just thread the passes, make everything link up perfectly like he did for so many years was obviously super impressive. And they still kind of have some of those X factors, but Bernardo Silva isn't a guy that's just going to be sitting on the ball like De Bruyne was. They still have Haaland, who obviously is an incredible talent, but again, I think De Bruyne is maybe the guy that they're missing the most to make them just kind of that juggernaut. But kind of brings us to the Arsenal game, which we squeaked out a 1-0 victory out of. We got dominated by Brighton, not necessarily because of anything that they were doing, but we got a pretty lucky goal inside 10 minutes. Saka ripping one from outside the box, which I love that he did. I've been wanting to
Yeah.
see more of that, but like took a pretty nasty deflection, went in. And then we just kind of sat back and parked the bus the rest of the game. A lot of flopping, a lot of laying on the
I
ground, a
bet.
lot of taking forever to put the ball back in. Just like it was kind of a frustrating game to watch from like a fan's perspective, just because like every time the ball would go out, obviously our team is doing what our team is doing, but like their coach and their fans are booing and like,
Mm-hmm.
they're pressuring the referee to like make sure that he's taking note of how long we're taking and all that stuff. And that was really most of the second half was just like that. And it wasn't a great viewing experience, but, grinded out the win. Again, I don't think we really need to be doing that. Like, as much
Mm-hmm.
firepower we have, we don't need to score one lucky goal in the 10th minute and then just sit back the rest of the game. But that's kind of what I've been talking about with some of my frustrations with Arteta is just like, I feel like he's so scared of losing that's what he does. He's like, all right, we got a goal. Like everybody just in our own goal. Like we're going to defend for our lives now. I'm like, bro, you're playing
Yeah.
Brighton. Like, come on, homie. But
Yeah.
I've been on here before talking about all of the specifics about it. But we got another dub. We're 7 points clear, even though Man City do have a game in hand. But the results this week were obviously pretty important because now we control our own destiny again, where we didn't before that because we still have that Man City game coming up a few weeks at the end of March. So yeah, huge dub for my Gunners. Hopefully we stay winning. even though it might not be the prettiest ball. But yeah, Arteta's just he's something else, man. Like he played under Wenger, he coached under Pep, and this is the ball that he's playing when he's coaching. But
He's paranoid, man. You guys are this
he's
deep into the
scared.
season, and you're just like, man, we've seen it all come crashing down this time of year. Like,
It's tough.
any points that you can hold on to, he's going to. Just the
But I mean,
paranoia is
it's
strong.
a nice cushion going to the last 8, so
It is. That's massive.
gotta get it across the line.
Yeah, absolutely. We kind of alluded to it, and we're not going to touch on it, but super excited for the World Cup coming up. 99 days. Could be fun watching it from the couch, even though it's going to be an hour and a half away up the road. It's going to be great.
Yeah. Thanks, FIFA.
Thanks, FIFA. We love you. Obviously, we'll dive into that a lot more as the summer kind of gets closer, but 99 days gearing up. Did you see all the stuff going on about our government not paying the host cities money that they're owed? Yeah, there's a lot of places that are refusing to actually like start getting stuff ready for the World Cup because they haven't received payment from
our government has to pay that?
Well, I guess Trump put in his in a bill that they were allocating so much money to each city to help with the preparations for it and stuff like that. And I think it was just now, I think it's Massachusetts isn't giving FIFA some sort of entertainment license until they receive the money they're owed. So yeah, bunch of stuff going down. So
haven't seen any of that. I thought
just typical World Cup stuff, whatever.
Well, I thought the government was like super pumped to like be hosting the World Cup. They did all that stuff for the Club World Cup.
Yeah.
So that's just a weird.
It's just all the reports I've been seeing. Yeah, they just haven't given out the money that they're supposed to. So just thought that was interesting.
Maybe they think Mexico and Canada should be paying for.
They're like pay up. Yeah, I just thought that was interesting. But like we said, super excited for the World Cup as it's coming up really, really soon. Good year for sports in general. I think that's pod, Sammy.
There's a pod.
We appreciate you guys for tuning in this week. As always, please go to Spotify, Apple Podcast, and obviously here on YouTube. Like, follow, subscribe, do all the things. It would help us out a lot, push us out to more people so we can grow the audience. And we just, again, in 2026, really, that is the goal, to grow this as big as we can. We appreciate you guys again, and we will see you guys on the next one. Peace.